If you're thinking about retiring before you can access your super, there's a good chance the question feels enormous. Can I actually afford to stop work? Will the money last for the rest of my life? It feels like you're trying to answer for 30 years all at once. But that's not actually the problem you need to solve. The real question is much smaller than that. How do you fund the gap between the day you stop working and the day your super or pension becomes available? Once you see it is a bridge instead of a wall, it gets a lot more manageable. And if you'd like help actually mapping what the bridge looks like for your own timeline, that's what I do. There's a link below, but let me show you why this is a much smaller problem than it feels like first. As a degree qualified advisor, this is one of the most common structuring problems I work through with clients. And almost every time, it turns out to be far more solvable than people expect walking in. Here's what's actually happening when this question feels so overwhelming. You're treating "can I retire early" as one giant open-ended question, 30 years of unknowns all at once with no clear starting point. No wonder it feels paralyzing. But retiring early isn't actually a 30-year problem. It's a 5-year problem or a 7-year problem. Whatever the gap actually is between when you want to stop and when your super or age pension becomes accessible. That gap has a start date, it has an end date, and it has a cost that can actually be calculated. Once it's a number with two ends, it stops being a fear and starts being a plan. So what actually funds that bridge? There's no single answer, it depends on your situation, but it's usually built from a combination of a few things. Savings and investments held outside of super, which can be accessed at any age. Part-time or consulting work, even for a few years, which can shrink the size of the gap dramatically. Restructuring how your existing money is held so the right amount is accessible at the right time. And sometimes simply adjusting the date by a year or two, which can make an enormous difference to how comfortable the bridge is. None of those are exotic strategies. They're ordinary tools used deliberately, pointed at a specific bounded gap. Let me make this real with an example. Say someone wants to stop working at 58, but can't access their super until 60, and doesn't expect the age pension until much later, if at all. That's a gap. In this case, a couple of years. Not 30, not unknown, a couple of years. And once we know that, we can work out exactly what's needed to cross it. Savings outside super, maybe some part-time work, maybe a small change to the date. Compare how different that feels to "will my money last forever?" One is a fog, the other is a bridge you can actually see the far side of. So, if retirement feels out of reach because the question feels too big, here's the shift. Stop asking, "can I afford the rest of my life?" Start asking, "what does the gap actually cost, and what do I have to cross it?" That second question has an answer. And once you've got it, early retirement stops being a leap of faith and starts being a plan with two clear ends and a bridge in between. This is general in nature, so it's important to consider your own situation, because the size of your bridge will be different for everyone. Now, once you know what the bridge costs, there's a second question right behind it. How do you actually structure your money so crossing it early doesn't put the rest of your retirement at risk? Get that part wrong, and a manageable bridge can turn into a real problem later on. That's what this next video is about. If you'd like help working out what your own bridge looks like and how to fund it properly, I work with Australians approaching retirement in exactly this position. You can find details below.